Good morning and welcome to day 6 of the Sunrise Challenge. We'll be moving through a flow of our various warrior foundation poses. The link to the playlist is in the description. You can also find the link in the email that was sent out this morning. And if you can navigate on over there, we will hit play together and get moving as the sun rises behind me. Okay, so I'm gonna hit play in 3, 2, 1. So settling into your mat, breathing in fresh morning air, knowing that this is a new day for you to explore new beginnings. Begin your day calm, centered, grounded, in control. Deep breath in through the nose. Long breath out. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Deep breath in. Long breath out. I'd like you to concentrate on the feeling of breath as it hits the back of your throat, as it enters. You might place a hand on the upper chest as we start to begin to focus on filling the upper lungs. And finally, we'll bring our hands down to the ribs, feeling the spaces between the ribs expand and contract with the breath. And then hands come down to the belly. We fill the whole body all the way down to the belly with air. Starting our day off right with fresh air. Beautiful. Okay, so letting the breath return back to its natural rhythm. We'll begin to bring some movement into our practice, aiming to meld our breath and body together as we move. So let's send the feet out straight, the legs out straight, coming into Dandasana, our staff pose. Sitting straight through the spine, shoulders down and away from the ears, pressing the backs of the legs into the earth. We'll bring the hands to either side of the body. On the inhale, we'll bring them up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, folding down. Again, inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, sweeping down. One more now, at your own pace. Planting the left hand, we'll take the right hand up and over to the left, coming into a bit of a crescent moon shape. Back through center, planting the right hand now, left hand comes up and over to the right. Inhale through center. Flowing at your own pace now. Inhale as you move up, exhale as you fold over. Coming back to center. We'll take the right foot, bring it up and over the left knee. So it's on the outside of the left knee. Bring the hands up and overhead. Right elbow goes to right knee as we twist to the left. Looking out over the left shoulder. Coming into a gentle twist. Inhale back to center. Switching legs now, we send the right leg out long, left foot comes to the outside of right knee. Left elbow to left knee as we twist to the right. Coming back to center. We'll flow here. Exhale to twist. Inhale to center, switching legs. Exhale to twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. Coming back through center, uncrossing the legs. We'll bring the arms up and overhead, creating steeple mudra, so our pointer fingers touching each other, the rest of the fingers interlaced. We'll raise the chin, raise the nose, doing a slight back bend here, so we warm up the spine. Exhale, we forward fold over towards the toes, rounding through the back. Inhale, hands up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to our little extension here. Exhale to fold. One more now. Exhale to fold. Rounding up through the spine as we straighten. Let's send the legs out wide. We'll bring the arms up and overhead on the inhale. Exhale as we forward fold over to the right leg. Stretching those hamstrings a little bit before our practice. Inhale up. Turning to the left leg, forward fold on the exhale. Inhale through center. Turning, forward fold over the right leg. Back through center. Left leg. Moving at your own pace. And coming back to center. Hands down to the mat, feet back together. We'll swing the legs over to the side and come into table pose. So stacking the hips or the knees hip width apart, 90 degrees with the legs. Hands are shoulder width apart, spreading the weight through at the fingertips. On the inhale, we lift the tailbone, lift the nose, push the belly down towards the mat as we inhale for cow pose, sorry. Exhale, rounding through the spine, bringing the navel towards the spine. Coming into cat stretch. Inhale, nose up, tailbone up, belly down for cow. Rounding through the spine, drawing the belly back. Cat. Moving at your own pace, with your own breath now. Just waking up the spine here. When you next come through center, you might take right nose to right hip, coming into a little bit of a crescent shape here. Back through center. Left nose to left hip. Back and forth. Exhale to fold. Inhale to center. One more. Beautiful. Okay, so as the sun is rising, we will begin our downward dog. So tuck the toes under, spread the weight evenly throughout the hips, begin to lift the knees, hover them, sending the tailbone up as we unfurl the knees, but making sure to keep a gentle bend. Coming in to our downward facing dog. Remember to keep the shoulders down and away from the ears. Maybe bending one knee at a time here. Walking the dog. Waking up the body. Planting down through the left foot, we'll lift the right leg up. Circling through the foot in three-legged dog here. Bend the knee, open up the hip to the right as we drop the foot to the left. Return that right foot back down to the mat. Shake it out with the legs a little bit, bending one leg and then the next. Plant the right foot, bring the left foot up. Three-legged dog, circle through the toes. Open up through the left hip, drop the left foot to the right. Coming back into our downward facing dog. Again, walking it out here. So we'll begin to come up into a forward fold now. So we'll walk the feet forwards to meet the hands coming in to forward fold. So just letting the upper body hang here for a moment. Hang heavy, gentle bend in the knees. We're going to do a little halfway lift here. So as we inhale, we straighten up through the back, imagining like it was a little table, like somebody could put a little teacup on your back. Exhale, fold back down to the mat.
Inhale, arms up and overhead. We sweep them up, root to rise like the rising sun. One vertebrae at a time, straightening out. Hands up and overhead. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale as we swan dive back into our forward fold. Inhale, we halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more now at your own pace. Don't forget the halfway lift. Maybe on your last one, a slight back bend when the hands meet overhead. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to come to the top of my mat because we're going to be stepping back in a moment. So we're in our forward fold here. Let's do one last sort of half salutation here. So halfway lift, exhale to fold, inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, let's just let the hands float down to the waist, coming into mountain pose. So our feet are hip width apart, palms facing forward, stacking all of our joints and bones one over the other in a nice straight line, gentle bend in the knees. We'll come into a little halfway or half sun salutation here as we lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, let the hands flow down to the hips, coming in to mountain pose. So our feet are hip width apart. You might rock back and forth on the feet here, finding a good foundation. Stacking knees over ankles, hips over knees, gentle bend in the knees. Stacking all the vertebrae one over the other, shoulders dropping down. Standing tall, standing strong. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale as we swan dive down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Slight back bend here. Hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale as we swan dive back down to the mat. Let's send the feet back into your down facing dog here. Bending the knees, keeping shoulders away from the ears. Pressing up through the tailbone, looking for a straight spine. Let's bring the right leg up into three-legged dog. Circle through the foot. Draw navel to spine as we shift the body forward. Shift the shoulders over the hands, bringing the right knee under the body, stepping up with the right leg in between the hands, coming into a lunge. You might drop the knee here if you feel more comfortable as you sweep the arms up and overhead, coming in to a crescent lunge. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Let's drop the back knee, untuck the toes. Or if you're already here, that's okay too. We'll shift the hips back, sending the right toes up towards the sky, coming into a little bit of a ham or a calf stretch here. Shifting the body forward, untucking the back toes, lifting the leg, sending the right leg back as we come back into our downward facing dog. Taking a moment here, stepping or hopping up into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead.
Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead.
Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale to fold.
Planting the hands, we step back into downward facing dog. Sending the left foot up, circling through the foot, shifting the shoulders over the wrists, drawing navel to spine. We bring the left foot forward, taking a couple steps if you need.
Dropping the knee if you're more comfortable here. We'll sweep the arms up and overhead into a lunge. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Drop the knee, untuck the toes, send the hips back. Left foot points towards the sky. Exhale, walking forward. Lift the back toes, lift the back knee. Send the left leg back into downward facing dog.
Taking a moment here. Step or hop the feet up into forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the arms up and overhead.
Gentle back bend. Exhale, fold.
Inhale, arms up as we come into a halfway lift. Exhale, folds. Inhale, arms up and overhead.
Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale as we forward fold.
Step or hop back into our downward facing dog. This time we'll shift the body forward into our plank pose. Okay, we'll turn to face the short side of the mat. Starting in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead.
Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale to fold.
Planting the hands, we'll step or hop the feet back into downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale as we shift the shoulders over the hands. Straightening at the body, coming into plank. If this is difficult for you, you might drop the knees down here, untuck the toes. Let the lower body sink slowly down towards the mat, using your upper body as resistance. Inhale, lift up the nose, pressing lightly through the hands here, coming into cobra. Exhale, fold. Tuck the toes under, prepare to lift. You might leave the knees on the ground here if you have a little bit of issues with plank. Inhale as we push up. Send the hips back into downward facing dog, maybe bringing the feet in just a little bit. Stepping forward into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead.
Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Stepping the feet back into our downward facing dog. Shifting the body forward into our plank. Dropping the knees here if you feel more comfortable. If not, you might just drop down towards the mat.
Untucking the toes, lifting up into cobra on the inhale. Exhale back down to the mat.
Tucking the toes under. We press up from the floor into plank. Sending the hips back into downward facing dog here. We step the feet up into our forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step the feet back into downward facing dog. We'll send the right leg up, making a couple little circles with the foot here in three-legged dog. Exhale, begin to shift the shoulders over the hands again, bending the knee, taking a couple steps if you need to get that right foot between the hands. If you're more comfortable here, you might drop the knee as we sweep the arms up and overhead in a lunge. High or low, yogi's choice. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. We'll come back up into our high lunge here. So up off the knee, take a little bit of a step in with your left foot, pointing the toes in a 45-degree angle. Bend in the right knee as we sweep the arms up and overhead into warrior one. Hips are facing the front of the mat, shoulders down and away from the ears. Feet are on train tracks, not a tightrope here. Exhale as we open up to the left. Coming into warrior two, hips are facing the long edge of the mat now. Inhale, left hands come down to the left thigh. Right hands come up and overhead. Peaceful warrior. Exhale, hands come back to center. Take a deep inhale. Right forearm comes through right knee as left hand comes up and overhead. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale as we cartwheel back down to the mat into our high lunge or low lunge, whatever you like. Actually, let's go into low lunge here. So we'll drop the knee, untuck the toes. Let's send the hips backwards as we point the toes up to the sky, right toes up to the sky. Exhale, coming forward. Tuck the toes under, lift the knee up. Plant down through the hands as we step the right foot back into our downward facing dog. Inhale as we shift the body forward into our plank. Lower down to the mat. Again, bending the knees if that's more comfortable for you. Inhale into cobra. Exhale to the mat. Inhale, we press up. Exhale, setting the hips back into downward facing dog. Stepping forward into into our forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sending arms up and overhead. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Planting the hands, we step the feet back, hop or jump into downward facing dog. Sending the left leg up now, circling through the foot. Shifting the body forward, shoulders over wrists. Drawing navel to spine, we step left leg up in between, or left hand up, my words today. Stepping left foot in between the hands. Dropping the knee here if that's more comfortable for you as we shift arms up and overhead into our lunge. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Take the right foot, bring it up a step, feet on a 45-degree angle as we shift the arms up and overhead into warrior two. Or warrior one, sorry. Shift the arms up into warrior one. Hips are facing forward here, shoulders down and away from the ears. Deep inhale. Exhale as we open up to the right side of the mat. Coming into warrior two. Inhale, right hand to right thigh as left hand comes up. Exhale, hands come back to the center. Left arm to left thigh as we sweep the right arm up and overhead into another version of our warrior here. Exhale, let's windmill the arms back down to the mat. And drop the right knee, untuck the toes. Send the hips back, pointing left toes to the sky. Walk the hands forward. Untuck the toes, lift the knee. We'll send the left foot back into downward facing dog. Shifting the body forward into our plank, dropping the knees if that's more comfortable. Dropping the body down slowly to the mat. Inhale as we lift up into cobra. Exhale to fold. Tuck the toes under, inhale as we lift. Send the hips back up into downward facing dog. Step the feet forward into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale as we swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Shifting the body. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Stepping the feet back into downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up. Circling through the foot, shifting the shoulders over the wrist. Stepping the left foot up between the hands. You might drop the knee here, or you might just stay in high lunge as we lift arms up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Planting the right hand, we'll open up with the left hand coming into a twist. Exhale back down to the mat. Heel toe the left foot out to the left side of the mat. Both hands are on the inside of the foot now. Drop the right heel as we plant left hand, sweeping the right hand up and open. Exhale to fold back down to the mat. Heel toe the foot back in, hands on either side of the foot as we drop the knee, untuck the toes, send the hips back, left toes point to the sky. Walking back forward, lifting the knee, tucking the toes, sending left foot back into downward facing dog. Shifting the body forward into plank. Exhale down to the mat. Inhale, untuck the toes, send the body forward, or body up into cobra. Exhale back down to the mat. Tuck the toes under, press up into plank. Inhale, sending hips back up into downward facing dog. Step the feet up to meet the hands, coming in to our forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms up and overhead in the inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Send the feet back into downward facing dog. Sending right foot up this time. Circling through the foot, shifting the weight forward with our shoulders over wrists, bringing right foot up in between the hands. Coming up back into our lunge. Inhale, swing arms up and overhead. You might keep your knee bent here, that's okay. Exhale, we'll fold down. So let's take the left leg, bring it up a step or two, and make sure that our feet are on train tracks here, not on a tightrope, so they're about hip width apart still, even though they're in different positions. We'll keep a nice bend in the right knee as we sweep arms up and overhead, coming into warrior one. Hips point to the front of the mat, shoulders drop down. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale as we open up to the left. Coming into warrior two, hips are facing the long edge of the mat now. Maybe adjusting your feet if you need some better foundations here. Inhale as we lift right hands up overhead, left hand comes down the left thigh. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right forearm to right knee. Left arm comes up and overhead. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale as we cartwheel back down to our lunge. Untucking the toes, dropping the knee, sending the hips back as right knee points up, or right toes point up to the sky. Exhale back to center. Tuck the toes under, lift the back knee, send the left or right foot back into downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the body forward into our plank. Exhale, dropping down to the mat. Inhale, pressing up into cobra. Exhale, back down. Tucking the toes under, we press up into our plank, sending the hips back into downward facing dog. Stepping the feet forward into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale as we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Sending left foot up this time. Shift shoulders over wrists. Navel to spine as we step left foot up. There's a little goose with baby goslings swimming by right now. You might drop the knee here if you like. If not, we'll sweep arms up and overhead into our lunge. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, step the back foot up just a step or two, 45-degree angle with the right foot. Remember, we're on train tracks, not a tightrope here. Keeping that bend in the left knee. Let's swing the arms up and overhead into warrior one. Hips facing forward, shoulders coming down. Deep breath here. Exhale, let's open up to the left side now. Bring the arms out straight. Inhale, left hands to left thigh. Right hand to right thigh, left hand up and overhead. This is scary to balance on a dock doing this. Back to center. Inhale here. Exhale, right forearm to right knee. Left hand comes up and overhead. Exhale, we cartwheel back down to the mat. Send the right leg long, coming into our lunge. Drop the knee, untuck the toes. Oh, those little ducklings are so cute. Goslings, I guess. Exhale, we'll send the hips back. Left toes come up to the sky. Exhale, back forward. Lift the back knee, lift the back toes. Send the hips back. Downward facing dog. Shift the body forward into plank. Send it down to the mat. Up into cobra. Exhale down to the mat. Tuck the toes under, press up into plank. Send the hips back into downward facing dog. Step or hop up to forward fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. You're doing great. Halfway lift on the inhale. Plant the hands, send it back to downward facing dog. You're doing great. So in our downward facing dog, let's step up into our forward fold here. Inhale, let's just consciously stack our vertebrae as we come back into our mountain pose. And we'll begin to attempt warrior three. So it's a little bit tricky. So let's start with planting the left foot. Let's start with planting the left foot. So shift the weight into the left foot, begin to lift the right up. We'll send the right up and behind us. You might grab onto the foot with the hand. My balance isn't feeling so good today, so we'll see what happens. So we're looking for a point of focus in front of us. So something a couple of feet out ahead of you that you can focus on to keep yourself centered. And let's drop the left hand forward as we shift the upper body and the heart down parallel to the mat, lifting up with the back foot at the same time.
And if you feel ready, you might extend the back leg out and perhaps swing the right hand forward to meet the left, flexing through the foot, coming into warrior three. Whenever you feel ready, or if you fall out of the pose, just coming back to center. So let's shift into the right foot this time. Sending left leg up, shifting weight into the right foot, finding your point of focus. Right hand up and overhead. Begin to shift the upper body forward, pointing the heart down towards the mat. Sending the left leg or right leg long. Focusing, breathing. Again, dropping to the foot to the mat whenever you need it. Moving with mindfulness. My balance is really not great today, but doing our best. And back to center. Okay, let's try the other leg again. So left leg planting. Right foot we bring up to the hand. And if you just want to stay here, holding onto the right foot, left hand reaching up towards the sky, that's okay. Whatever feels good for you. If you'd like to, you might sort of try to lift the right foot up, seeing what your range of motion is like there. And if you'd like a little bit of an extra challenge, you might start to shift the body forward, bringing the heart down towards the mat, left hand coming down parallel. You might let go of that back foot, sending it out straight, bringing right arm to meet the left. Gentle bend in that left standing leg, flexing through the foot. Inhale as we tip back forwards, or we tip backwards, back to center. Let's try the left leg now, or the right leg, sorry. So putting our weight into the right leg, lifting the left leg up, finding your point of focus. So again, you might just be experimenting with how high you can lift the left foot here. Gentle bend in the right leg, remember. Right arm up and overhead. If you want that challenge, begin to drop the heart towards the mat, letting go of the left foot, gentle bend in the knee. Left hand comes to meet the right ahead of you. Straightening out through the body here, flexing through the back foot. Inhale as we tip back into our mountain pose. Beautiful. And that's your warrior three. Okay, let's begin to wind things down a little bit here. So coming back to our mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Planting the hands, we step the feet back into down facing dog. Shifting the body forward into our plank pose. Exhale, sending it down to the mat. Untuck the toes, lift upper body into cobra. Exhale to fold. Inhale, press it up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send the right leg up, circling through the foot. Shifting shoulders over wrists, sending right knee this time instead of right foot in between the hands. Untucking and dropping the back knee, untucking the toes. And slowly sinking into that right hip. If you have trouble with pigeon pose, you might place something on under the bum, under the right hip. Slowly just sinking in. Maybe experimenting with how close that right heel is to the groin. And if it feels good for you, you might be able to walk the hands out, folding over to the right thigh, coming in to our resting pigeon. Taking a well-deserved rest, well-deserved stretch.
Inhale back up into our proud pigeon. Planting the hands, tucking under the back toes, lifting the back knee. We'll send the left or right leg back to meet the left, coming into our downward facing dog. Shifting the body forward into plank. Exhale down to the mat. Inhale as we shift the body up into cobra. Exhale to fold. Tuck the toes under, lift the body up. Send it back to downward facing dog. Step up into our half forward fold. I don't know, I keep saying half. Inhale, halfway lift. I get ahead of myself, I guess. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back into our downward facing dog. Left foot comes up and overhead. Three-legged dog. Shifting shoulders over wrists, bending the left leg, the left knee instead of the left foot in between the hands. Untucking the toes, dropping the right knee. Starting to send the weight into the left hip. Again, placing a block or a blanket underneath if that's more comfortable. Experimenting with how close the foot is. You might walk the body out, folding the body over the left thigh, coming into pigeon. Inhale, coming back to center. Tucking the right toes under, lifting the right knee. Planting the hands, sending the left foot back into downward facing dog. Shifting the body forward, shoulders over wrists, coming down into plank, coming down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, fold. Tucking toes under, pressing up to plank. Sending the hips back to downward facing dog. Step the feet forward into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sending the feet back into downward facing dog. Dropping the knees down to the mat this time. Bringing big toes together. Let's send the knees wide as the mat. Shift the hips back towards the heels. Front of the body coming down into the mat into a child's pose. Well deserved. Taking your rest here. Shifting the body back up into table. Let's plant the left hand as we take the right hand up and open, coming into a twist. Exhale, right hand comes down under the space between the left knee and left arm here. Dropping right shoulder down, right ear to the mat. Threading that needle. Inhale back to center. Planting the right hand, left hand opens. Threading the needle between right leg and right arm. Left shoulder comes down to the mat, left ear comes down to the mat. Inhale back to center. Let's plant the left hand as we take the right hand up and open, coming into a twist. Exhale, right hand comes down under the space between the left knee and left arm here. Dropping right shoulder down, right ear to the mat. Threading that needle. Inhale back to center. Planting the right hand, left hand opens. Threading the needle between right leg and right arm. Left shoulder comes down to the mat, left ear comes down to the mat. Inhale back to center. Exhale, sending the hips back towards the heels. Coming into hero pose. Inhale, our arms will open overhead. Let's take a nice little back bend here. Exhale, forward fold down into child's pose. This time with our knees a bit closer together. You might send the hands down behind the hips, letting the backs of the palms rest on the mat, shoulders kind of folding forward. Deep breaths here. Inhale, pressing back up into our kneeling position. Dropping the hips. Sending the feet out. Coming onto our backs here. As we start to walk back down onto the forearms. Coming into a reclined position. Sending the arms out into a T. Leaving the knees bent, soles of the feet on the mat. Drop the knees to the right side of the mat. Turn the head to the left. Coming into a little twist. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knees drop to the left. Head turns to the right. Inhale back to center. Bringing soles of the feet together, let's drop the knees out towards the sides of the mat, letting gravity pull the knees down. Slowing down now. Remembering to focus on the breath. Inhale, bring the knees back up together. Bringing them close to the body, coming into boat pose. Rocking back and forth. Massaging the low back into the mat. Put both hands on the left knee, tucking it into the body, send the right leg out straight. Flexing through both feet. Bringing the right knee in, this time we'll send the left leg long, hands on the right knee, left leg straight. Sending the right knee out now. Pressing the hands into the mat next to the hips, we'll begin to lift them up towards the sky. You might snuggle the shoulder blades a little bit closer together, interlacing the hands underneath the body as we use the downward pressure of our hands on the mat to lift the hips even higher in bridge pose here. Grounding through the feet. Exhale, untuck the shoulders. Slowly dropping the body very, very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, massaging it into the mat. Taking your time. Preparing for a final relaxation in Savasana now.
Preparing in our final relaxation now for Savasana. Enjoying all the fresh air we've brought into our bodies. Improving the circulation, building muscle. Starting your day off intentionally. Listening to the sounds that might be around you, or any sounds on this recording. Feeling the air on your skin. Gentle breath in the nostrils. Being in this present moment. When you feel ready, starting to return back to the body, wiggling fingers and toes, perhaps tensing all the muscles as you inhale. Relaxing as you exhale. Tensing as you inhale. Relaxing as you exhale. One more now. Rolling over onto one side, slowly and with intention. Taking a moment here to rest. Pressing back up into a seated position when you feel ready. Bringing hands to heart center. I would like to extend my thanks to you for joining me for this beautiful morning practice. I'm proud of you for making it to the end and starting your day with intention. Take a deep breath in as we take a gentle bow, honoring ourselves and each other. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. If you enjoyed this practice, I'd love if you could leave me a note in the comments. I'd also like to invite you to join the YogaNaraska community newsletter. There will be a link in the description of this video. Once a month, you'll get free yoga to your email inbox, along with some updates on any live or virtual events that we are having. You can also follow along on our social media at YogaNaraska on both Instagram and Facebook. I would love to see you there. Thanks.